I don't know what I might have said in another video, one that's coming up for the air conditioning units and grading and drainage, but this is the west side of the house, and I think I might have said east. Fences are beyond the scope of this inspection. Over here on the east side, this tree growing through the fence, it's going to continue to grow, and the fence will not. It'll try to stay in place, and it will lose, and the tree will fracture it, send things coming apart. That's what will happen. These are air conditioning units. The coils are dirty on both of them. They got good refrigerant. We got soffit vents. Soffit vents. Some of the rain gutter. See how this one's rusting out? We're on the east side. See how this is rusting out? It hasn't been performing very well. And discharge is too close to the house. Right here where we got all the rotting tree stump. That'll make the termite report. Coming on along. We're missing all of our screens. I haven't seen a screen yet. And these windows, they're single pane glass, wooden frames. Now I've heard that these windows can be rebuilt so that they're actually quite energy efficient. That's what I've heard. But I'm also taught to inform you that single pane glass doesn't have the same R value as double pane. And if a permit is pulled, the odds are, unless there's special consideration for it being a historical window, there's also a chance that to get the permits approved and signed off on, you might have to upgrade to double pane windows, which would be kind of a shame on a house at this age. We got some wood rot right here in the windowsill. Got some of that. We got some cracking and peeling paint in the windowsill. We've got, and this is around most of the house, all four sides, but between the brickwork, we have mortar repair. I haven't found any open, active gaps, but I've come across plenty of repair around this house. This is my second pass. So, obviously some movement has been happening. Now on the foundation itself, the grade beam wall, the perimeter, I haven't seen any cracks. We're taking a tour now. We might find some. We might. But that's wood rot right there. So just, be aware. Again, still on the west side. We've got a couple trees touching the side of the structure here. Moving along. So this would be the exterior faucet for 418. I'm supposing. We do not have a vacuum breaker. We don't have a vacuum breaker. Oh, and that faucet doesn't even work. Okay. And this faucet doesn't work. How about that? That just saved me a little time. See all that moss growing in the ground? It's a level over here too. A little bit of movement. Some more mortar repair. Exterior light fixtures on the walls. They should be sealed to help prevent moisture infiltration into the walls. So should the electric disconnect for the upstairs condensing unit. Moving along. The water meters are out here in the yard. We got bushes touching the house here and here. More moss. Rain gutters are still too close. Rain gutters still leaking. Bushes next to the house. Along the sprinkler heads, they should not be closer to the structure than 12 inches. So that's going to spray the house. You can even see where it's been spraying the house. And brick is porous. It lets water in. This is the front steps for 4020. We got a little bit of movement here. A little bit of movement. Moving on along. Nice little gate to the side and archways. Got a little bit of brick movement in this archway as well. Mortar repair around the arch right in there. This is something I've been noticing, but all the crawl space ventilation has been bricked up. What's that about? You need ventilation in your crawl space. So somebody didn't do that by accident, or it definitely wasn't by original design. So somebody made a conscientious effort to close the ventilation into the crawl space, maybe because the grading and drainage is level, maybe they thought it was going to help with the moisture, maybe they had trouble with animals, I don't know. But that's a good question. That's a very good question. More cracking and peeling paint. And you can see there's wood damage back in there. This putty's been redone. That glazing putty, it's all been redone. So the windows are showing signs of their age. They're only like 100 years old, I don't know. 90 years old, maybe. This is the lawn sprinkler control. It's bootlegged off of the old one. This one's inactive. It's just where the power comes in. So they're using the power here. It's just a dead man. It's time to install a newer one. We have operating instructions, but the zones are not labeled. This is not a check valve. I haven't found a check valve. I haven't found a main water shutoff valve for the house. Either side. So we do not have main water shutoff valves. We do not have check valve for the lawn sprinkler system. And the zones are not labeled. Oh, need a wrench for that. Well, why not? Hang on. I wasn't planning on doing this. The other one was supposed to work. And I'd come back and do this one. But here we are. Well, I need a bigger wrench. Okay. Save you for later. Put you out there so I trip over you and I won't forget you. These steps are not dimensionally uniform. This is a side door. We got bushes on both sides of the door. Shrubs, foliage, more soffit vents. Looks like a little bit of soffit damage right up in here. Right up in there. Looks like there's been some soffit damage. Of course, this rain gutter doesn't look any better over here than it does anywhere else. All the rain gutters pretty much shut. We got good examples. Foliage all around here. This is the access into the crawl space. This is the access into the crawl space, and it's going to take a little man to get in there. It's 14 by 20 inches, not counting that little broken brick right there. 14 by 20 inches. Technically, I could just call that deficient, and I will. I call it deficient, and then I could say, you know, access was limited, but I'm going to try and poke my head in there. If it's not too wet, I'm going to suit up. I'm going to give it the good college try. Now, this wasn't very, I guess the building science wasn't well known when this structure was built, but if the structure was built today instead of 90 years ago, across these windows, you'd have these window lintels. That's a metal that's embedded in there. That was pretty good for 90 years ago. That was pretty good. But we'd have weep holes, little slots cut above the windows and the doors. And we don't have those. And they didn't have them then. We don't have them today. But anyway, you know, home ownership 101, all roofs leak, all walls leak. We design them to shed water faster than it accepts it. Because we want to keep the inside dry, including the crawl space. So, anyway, so weep holes should have been installed, and they weren't. This is the gas. You've got two gas pots, two gas meters coming into the house. They're coming in. House faces north. This is the south side of the house where we're at right now. Currently, these are the water meters. This is where the gas enters the house, and the mortar's nice and good around there, and we do have shutoff valves. So you have emergency shutoff valves. Come out here if you got a gas leak. This is where you go. Moving along. There's the teriyaki chicken. These are your electric meters. Now, there's a couple things going on here. One is the meter is not supposed to be higher from the ground than 6 foot 6 inches. And they are. And Another thing is that the power coming into the house should not be below the eave. The soffit, the eave, right there. It shouldn't be down here. It should be up there. And then we come across here. It's not supposed to be closer than 10 feet, but I can't see past the fence. It might be closer to that ground than 10 feet. But I know that the power wasn't brought in from above roof. I do know that the meters are too high. I do know that the meter pots, bases, the meter bases, they should have been sealed to keep water from coming in. So we know that. These back steps, you got a chip right there, a little chip tooth. Some of them are loose. And they're not dimensionally uniform. There's not supposed to be more than a 32nd of an inch difference between the riser heights. Grampy might trip. I might trip. I'm not young. This is the door. This goes to the upstairs. This is upstairs storage. And that's the upstairs electric service panel. And you can't even open the door. You can't even open that little door to if you flipped a breaker, you'd have to take all this out. Maybe you could just like push it up or something and reflip the breaker. But an electrician can't get in there. Nobody can get in there. Got a little bit of separation right here. Found some separation. Yay! This door sticks in this jamb. Somebody secured it with a nail right there in the nail hinge. It sticks in this jamb. We got wood rot down here at the bottom of it. That's called the bottom rail. That's some wood rot. This is a clothes dryer vent right here. Saved by the bell. Got some loose bricks right there on the brickwork on the spam wrist. I think I'll let that go to voicemail. But not always spam, but odds are it's going to ruin our party. Yeah, it already went in. Okay. So, again, we got a lot of movement on this porch. A lot of movement on this porch. And the light should be sealed. Oh. We got two clothes dryer vents. And this one. I don't understand. I think this is the one that's being used. That's what that looks like. Check this one out. Well, that one's clogged. I don't know why we have three clothes dryer vents. That one's closed, clogged. Then we have one over here. I might get a better idea once I get upstairs. See what's going on. Might. Just a little recap. Just pull it on around here. This rain gutter right here has not been performing well. I can tell you that. See the way everything's been running over that? And then signs of movement. And I can probably find it in some other places too. But right there at this corner of the brickwork, the closest board to the corner, it's called the freeze board. Got a little bit of separation right there.